Hello and welcome to the fifth episode of Myles and Paul Talking Sports. I'm Myles and this is Paul.
How's it going?
And we are recording. It is now Tuesday, the 28th of April. We are 2 days after the conclusion of the draft. It's been going through some news, which is all going to be draft related, really. We'll go through some teams whose drafts we liked. We're going to go through over and under win totals for all 32 teams. How are you doing this week, Paul?
Bored.
Bored, yeah.
Really bored. Like,
now that the draft's over, there's
the draft,
nothing to look forward
it was
to.
fun for a couple of days, and then it's just like, guessing again.
I think I did watch pretty much every single bit of it, except for day 2. I was too drunk, so I fell asleep for a lot of it. But
I didn't watch the third day.
I watched all the third day.
No, I didn't really care about the last one.
All right, so I mean, the main bit of news this week, coming out of the first round of the draft, was the Packers taking a quarterback, Jordan Love. I'm not really sure what to make of this one. What are your thoughts initially?
I don't get why everyone's getting their panties in a twist, to be honest. It's a franchise trying to work out what to do after their 36-year-old quarterback.
But he says he wants to play for 4 more years.
A lot of NFL players say that.
Yeah, but I think the problem that most people had is they were quite close last year. They got to the NFC Championship game, and then they got blown out. But you would think they should be in win now, yet they don't get their best player any sort of offensive help.
Well, they did this with Favre as well, though.
Yeah.
And he was.
But I mean,
he was a year
that doesn't
younger.
mean it's right. It means what they do.
If they really think Jordan Love is, the next guy, I don't have a problem with it.
I would have understood it if Jordan Love fell to them and they picked him, but they traded up for him.
Yeah, I suppose so.
But yeah, I think the Packers were like the only team to not take a receiver.
Yeah, that's a little bit bizarre.
In the best receiver draft in the last however long.
I mean, the team that I think had the best draft, I believe, took 3 receivers.
Who's that?
Two. The Oakland Raiders.
Okay.
What
did you like about the Raiders draft?
I think they got good value out of the later rounds. I don't know about Henry Ruggs.
This is my thing as well. The thing that made me laugh about the Raiders is that they always pick someone you think, really? Like last year it was the Clemson defensive end, Clelin Ferrell. Yeah.
Huge reach. But they got.
But the thing is, he was a first-round pick, but he wasn't the best defensive end in the draft, or the second best after Bosa. But
no, but they took Josh Jacobs and the safety Jonathan Abram last year.
Yeah,
and Jonathan Abram looks like a great pick.
I mean, Josh Jacobs looks like a great pick.
Yeah, so I mean, I like what they did in the second and third rounds, getting the wide receiver out of.
What I mean about the Ruggs pick was going into the draft, everyone was like, who's going to be the number 1 wide receiver picked? Is it going to be CeeDee Lamb or is it going to be Jerry Jeudy? And the Raiders get the opportunity to pick first and they take Ruggs.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's like Darius Hayward-Bay again.
I mean, I understand that speed really does kill at the NFL level still, but not as much as it does in college.
Yeah, I mean,
everyone's fast in the NFL.
The Raiders took Damon Arnett at 19 as well. I think they easily could have got Ruggs then as well.
I don't know about that.
It was only 7 picks later. Only CeeDee Lamb and Jeudy went in between those picks.
Where did Jefferson go? 21?
22.
22. I think.
Jalen Reagor went 21.
Oh, that was a pick that confused me. Yeah, I mean, the Raiders I thought had a good draft. My pick for the best draft was the Bills. They didn't have a first-round pick. They took AJ Espenza from Iowa, who was slated as a first-round pick. They took him 54th overall with their first pick. In the third round, they took Zach Moss, the Utah running back. I think we spoke about him last time. And they took Jake Fromm in the 5th. I like this pick because although everyone's high on Josh Allen, people recognise that he's raw. And if he doesn't develop, they have a guy who is kind of the opposite. Josh Allen is this physical freak, 6'6", huge arm, who's not a polished quarterback, but they're hoping when he becomes a polished quarterback, he'll have all the tools. Fromm is the opposite in that he was quite polished. He is a bit of a game manager, but he's not got the arm strength, which is what showed at the combine, which is obviously why he fell. So I quite like
noodle arm, yeah.
Noodle arm, yeah. Then it took Isaiah Hodgkins.
So I'm Fromm. I see Fromm as Nate Peterson 2.0. I think he's a very boring quarterback. I don't think you can pin a future on him.
If I was to compare him to anyone, it'd be AJ McCarron, but.
Well, what's he done?
That's not a great comparison.
He had 1 playoff game and he lost. Well, Well, his defense lost for him.
Did he ever lose in college though?
I think we lost one game in 4 years.
I think it was 43-1 or something. No, something like that. Yeah, insane. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying it was all AJ McCarron, but
yeah. Anybody else then?
I think the Bills were the main one. I mean, I like what the Niners did, but maybe I'm a bit of a homer. I think we patched all our holes. We traded for an all-pro left tackle who we're not going to have to pay this year. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. We lost the third next year, but we didn't have a second, third, or fourth round pick this year anyway. So
yeah, I was looking at the draft, and obviously it's every year. You know, every person thinks their team picked all the right players in the right spots. But if we're being realistic, only 10% of these players are going to be in the league for more than 2 or 3 years.
Oh yeah, I think there was a stat, something about 65% of NFL rosters are made from day 3 guys.
Yeah, that's what
I mean. So you can celebrate all these first round picks, but they really don't matter as much as what you do on day 2 and 3.
Yeah, but the like 5, 6, and 7 rounds, chances are you're going to get 5 players from those rounds that make a team or make a second contract.
Yeah.
So I mean,
and the teams that do really well tend to be the people that get value out of those. Like you'll get really solid players in the 5th round.
Yeah, but your team had what, 6 picks, 7 picks?
The Niners.
Yeah.
With the trades. What, before trades or after trades?
Just how many picks did you make? How many players did you pick?
5.
How many of them are going to get re-signed after the rookie deal?
Oh, who knows?
1?
Who knows? Genuinely, I mean, Buckner was a first-round pick for us. Rather than sign him to an extension, we traded him. So.
But when you look at them optimistically, you think, oh yeah, these are all could be starters. No, realistically, they're not going to be.
No.
And that's what I'm looking at the Steelers draft, where I think, oh yeah, it looks good. We filled what we needed, but these aren't first-round talent guys. These are going to be plugs until we get what we want.
Is there any draft that you particularly hated?
No, I don't think I've looked that deeply into it.
I've got 2, okay. But I'm a hater, so that's why I had I had 2 drafts that I hated and 1 that I liked.
The Cowboys and Seahawks, is it?
No, the Patriots.
Oh well, they didn't.
I don't think they did much other than gain assets. Really, they picked players that no one had ever heard of for good reason. I don't think I know enough about their draft, but they had the assets to go and get a quarterback, and they just didn't. So maybe they have got faith in Stidham. I quite liked Stidham when he was at Auburn.
Well, we'll see how I feel about them when I show you my how many wins they get this year.
It will be sickening if they're really good. The other one was the Cowboys. So many defensive holes, and they go and take CeeDee Lamb in the 1st round.
Yeah, he fell.
He did fall to them at 17.
But I agree. You've just paid Amari Cooper that much money.
And they did it. I honestly believe that they did it because Oklahoma is cowboy country. A lot of people that grow up in Oklahoma are Dallas Cowboy fans. Right. And they don't want, probably the best player left on the board easily, a top 5 player in the draft, who's on their doorstep, and they pass over him, and then he goes to the Eagles, who are 4 picks later and desperate for a wide receiver.
I mean, who would you have taken for their pick at 17?
I'd have to look at it again, but I would have taken some sort of defensive player.
I'm looking at it now, and Clavon
Chase on defensive end LSU.
Yeah, he was still available, and Austin Jackson went the next pick.
Yeah,
they're soft on the offensive line, which is not
surprising.
Yeah,
but yeah, that's why. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like Belichick isn't a genius and he could have had the best draft and no one would know about it. But
I thought his dog made those picks. No, I think I like Josh Uche, who they took in the 2nd round from Michigan.
Yeah,
he was a player that the Steelers had penned in, but he fell down to them. So.
Oh, did you see the Niners took that Tennessee wide receiver in the 6th round, the 6'4" guy, who he'd been suspended like 3 different times for all sorts of things, and then I think in the bowl game last year, I remember this happening, but I can't remember. I think it was on a kickoff. He threw his man out of bounds, and they landed out of bounds anyway, and then he stamps on the guy.
Wait, was this Charlie Werner?
No, that was the Georgia tight end. This is the Tennessee receiver.
I'm just looking for.
It might have been the 7th round.
Oh, okay. Ron Jennings.
That's it. Yeah. Ron Jennings. Yeah.
I'm gonna have to have a look at that.
Ridiculous. When I read about it all the quotes are, "This is the most disgusting thing I've ever seen in football." So, yeah. Anyway, we'll move on from the draft.
Yeah.
I mean, there's loads of draft coverage out there. We'll go through your over and under win totals. What division do you want to start with?
AFC North, I guess, top of the list.
AFC North. Okay.
Baltimore Ravens, 10.5.
Okay. I think, honestly, I haven't won in 11 games, so probably the over.
There's Cleveland,
Okay.
7.5.
Cleveland 7.5.
Yeah.
I think that's the perfect line because they're either going to go 7 and 9 or 8 and 8. So
Yeah.
I'll go the
Okay.
under.
Okay. The Steelers, I'm taking optimistically at 10.5.
Under. Slam under.
Why? Why?
You're going to win 9 games.
Ben's coming back. We're going to win 13. And the Bengals I've actually got at 4.5.
Oh, that's another good line, I think. If they went 5 and 11, it wouldn't surprise me. If they got, I'm going to take the over.
Okay. I think they win more. Yeah, I just don't see. I mean, the Bengals, they're going to have to be better. They can only be better than last year.
Yeah.
Wasn't
Not
it
only
the
that, it's not like it's a complete rebuild. They've still kept AJ Green. He's got weapons.
Well, we'll see. I don't think the Bengals are going to be good.
I mean, I think they're going to win 5 games. That isn't good.
Oh, do you think what pick they get next year then? Second, third?
No, I know. I mean, as we go through it, you'll probably work out who I
Yeah.
think is going to be picking first.
All right, what division want to go to next? Do you pick?
NFC South.
So I'll start with the Falcons.
Yes.
6.5.
Under. I think they're going to win 6 games.
Okay. I wouldn't.
No, in fact, I'm going to change that.
Okay.
They started off something like 1 and 7 last year, didn't they? And they finished 9 and 7. So
yeah, they beat you, didn't they?
they did, yeah, somehow.
Only
Sorry, I'll take the over then.
It's the last play of the game, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I'll take the over.
The Panthers are 5 and 5. 5.5.
5.5 under. I think they win 5 games. Maybe 4 games.
Yeah, I think they're. I mean, how good can Bridgewater be with a team that's got nothing around him?
Rookie head coach as well. You don't know what he's going to do.
No, they could be truly awful, and it's a shame because McCaffrey is going to be so good.
Yeah, I mean,
like,
last year he just carried their offense again, didn't he? Though, anyway, so
yeah, but he's not going to do that with 400 touches. Like,
no.
So South, the Saints have got 9.5.
Over.
Yeah.
I really like their Emmanuel Sanders pickup. Last year, you had obviously Michael Thomas setting the all-time receiving record for receptions.
I don't see.
He didn't have a
Breeze.
number 2.
I don't see Breeze playing the whole year. I just think he's going to get hurt again.
I can see it. I mean,
Jameis is going to come in.
They got famous Jameis coming in.
All right, and the Buccaneers are at 9.5.
So you had both the Bucks and the Saints at 9.5.
Yeah.
Over again. I can see that division being. I think Saints could win 12 games. Buccaneers could win 11 games.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose they've got the luxury of the Falcons having a terrible defense and the Panthers, they're going to suck as well.
Yeah.
So, well, maybe, I don't know. I think the Buccaneers will win the division, especially with Arians as head coach as well.
I just really like the Emmanuel Sanders pickup. I think it makes their offense so much more dangerous.
It does. I mean, who's the tight end now? They got one?
Cook.
Is it still Joe Cook? Oh.
I think so. I remember him playing. I've rewatched the Niners Saints game from last season, the epic one.
Oh yeah.
It ended with the Kittle run, carrying 3 defenders and drawing face mask penalties with on 4th and 2 with 30 seconds left.
I remember.
And Cook left in the first quarter with a concussion.
I was watching that cheering for the Saints. I was in a bar. I was in the Maple Leaf bar in Covent Garden.
I can't remember where I was for that game, but I remember watching it.
I think you were in the States or something, weren't you?
When was it? Let's have a look.
I was messaging you at the time, but I can't remember.
Let's have a look. Niners Saints. 8th of December. Well, oh no, I was in York.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on. You pick another division.
All right, we'll go in what I think is the worst division in football, AFC East.
AFC East. Okay.
Yeah. So the Buffalo Bills at 8.5.
Over.
I think they're going to be worse than last year. Like you said, Allen's not a polished quarterback yet. I don't think they're going to win 11 games again.
No, I can see them winning 9 or 10 though. I think 8 is a bit low.
Okay. The Dolphins 4.5.
They won 5 games last year, didn't they?
Yeah. And
Now they got
and that was
Tua.
and that was them not trying apparently.
Yeah, now they got Tua and an offensive line.
You think Tua plays this year?
I, I'm not sure, to be honest. They got Fitzmagic, but whenever you draft a quarterback that high, the fan pressure to play him is so strong. They end
Yeah.
up playing by week 8 anyway.
Fitz will be 40 this year, won't he?
Who, sorry? Fitzmagic
Fitzpatrick.
doesn't have a human age.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Uh,
how many did we say?
I said 4.5.
I could see them winning 5 or 6 games, so I'll go over.
Okay. The New England Patriots 9.5.
Under.
See, that's it. I think they're still going to be good, and they're still going to win the division.
No, I think the Bills have won this division, and I think it's going to be a momentous day when the Patriots don't win this division.
See, that's the reason why I think the Patriots are going to win it, because everyone's expecting them not to.
I like Stidham as well, but they have so little talent anywhere.
Brady didn't have any talent.
But Jared Stidham's not Tom Brady, man.
He did. I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And the Jets 7.5.
Under.
Okay.
I think they're going to win like 6
That
games.
division are just going to beat the hell out of each other.
Yeah, but
guess.
not like because they're particularly good, because they're all about the same level.
Yeah. Right, we'll go back to NFC. NFC North.
Okay.
So the Lions have got 6.5.
Well, why did their season fall apart last year? Was it Stafford not being healthy?
Yeah, they did, because Bluff came in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think the Lions are that bad.
I think they lost the most games last year in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. 6.5.
Yeah.
Oh, I'll go over 7.
I just don't believe in their coaching staff, and I don't think their draft was particularly good either.
I feel like I'm going over a lot, but at the same time, I'm going over, but I'm still picking teams to have losing records.
Yeah.
7-9.
So the Bears 5.5.
Under.
Really?
There's nothing about that team that says to me they're going to be any good at all.
They got Big Dick Nick. Yeah, no, I think they could be a front runner for Trevor Lawrence, and I think they might be doing it on purpose.
I think if they draft Trevor Lawrence, he's the best quarterback they've had since
Jim McMahon.
That's it.
Right, yeah.
BYU quarterback.
Yeah, I remember his last game. Well, I don't remember it, but I've seen it. When he got thrown to the turf, it was like a really, really late quarterback hit.
Yeah.
Like unbelievably late, and he never played again. Right, so I'm on the Packers, 10.5.
Under.
Okay.
I think
you think they're ready to win, but you don't think they win 10 games?
Sorry?
You think they're in win now, but they don't win more than 10 games?
I think they should think they're in win now. Realistically, I think they were the worst 13-3 team I've ever seen.
Okay. They've got a good defense now, though. Finally.
The Niners played them twice. The first time it was 24-0 at half time, and the second game it was 27-0 at half time. You are not competing if the game is over at half time.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're that good. What's their running back's name?
Yeah.
Aaron Jones.
Aaron Jones, that's one.
Aaron Jones had 20 touchdowns last year. He's not going to have the same season.
No.
If they win 10 games, I would be like, fair enough. I think the Vikings are the best team in this division.
Oh, okay.
And they lost a lot of talent, but I still think they're better than the Packers, who are just amazingly overrated.
I've got the Vikings at 7.5.
7 are over. They're going to win 9 games at least.
I don't think they're shit. I don't think they got anything.
You still think they're going to be second?
I don't believe in Cousins. Like they've got rid of Diggs, even though he was a troublemaker. Like Thielen is not that good of a receiver to carry the team on his own. Dalvin Cook I love, but if the defense knows he's getting the ball every time.
Yeah.
I
think this is low key one of the worst divisions in football.
Yeah, I think it is.
I just don't buy the Packers. And you know what? The really unfortunate thing was I used to work with a Packers fan, and like the Niners were bad for so long.
Oh yeah.
This year when we were finally good, I said that when I still worked for my last job, he laughed at me. He said that the Niners would beat the Packers. He laughed. And then we smashed them twice, and I didn't work there anymore, so I couldn't even say anything.
Right, so we're back in the AFC. Let's go to the West. So this is the division where I've got the highest win total.
Yeah.
The Chiefs have got a 12.5.
Oh, it's so hard to win 13 games.
Yeah.
And not only that, depending on what happens with the season, they're talking about not having a bye week. So week 16 could be irrelevant. So I'm going to go under, but I think they win 12.
Okay. So the Chargers. This is going based on the fact that Tyrod Taylor's going to be starting week 1. 5.5.
Under. I think it's going to be a rough year for the Chargers. They've got playmakers on defense as well, but
yeah. Do you think Herbert's going to play this year?
I don't know, to be honest.
No, I think he will.
No, I've never been that big a detractor for Tyrod Taylor. I think he's pretty good. But
I think he's all right. Actually, yeah,
I quite enjoy watching him when he played for the Bills.
He just doesn't throw the ball very well.
Semi-important for a quarterback.
It's quite important for a quarterback. But I like him. I like watching him.
Oh my God! Please tell me I've been recording this. Yeah, I have. Oh, thank God for that.
Right, so second last one. Denver, 8.5.
I never thought you'd go that high.
I like Drew Lock.
I like Drew Lock. And he's got weapons now as well.
Yeah.
Their offensive line's still a bit questionable, but under. But I think for the Broncos, 7-9 or 8-8 is a win for them after how bad they've been for like the last how many years. 2015 was their one year they won a Super Bowl.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the yeah. Because Cam won MVP and then he didn't dive on the ball in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I was watching All or Nothing today, and it's the season the Cardinals lost to them in the NFC Championship, and I'm watching it the whole time thinking, the Cardinals made the NFC Championship. How bad were the team they were playing? And then it was the Panthers, who to be fair were 15-1 at the time.
Yeah. One of the best seasons. They were good for a fair few years. They had an amazing defense, but it was so old.
Yeah. So the Oakland Raiders, and I have 9.5 wins for them.
We've got almost the same because I was going to say 9 or 10 wins, but
yeah.
I think I've constantly doubted John Gruden, and every single time I've doubted John Gruden, he's actually done better than I expected. So I'm going to go over. I think they win 10 games.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I can see it. I like I said, I like their draft. I think their draft from last year was relatively good as well.
Not only that, but I have the Chargers falling off. So
yeah.
Someone has to win some games.
That's what I mean. I was trying not to give all 3 or 4 teams in a division with winning. So
yeah.
So NFC East. Yeah. We'll do the West at the end.
8-8 NFC East, all of them.
I've got the Dallas Cowboys at 11.5.
Oh, under.
I think like I said, it's a terrible division. I just think they're going to get 6 wins from that division alone. So.
You think they're going to sweep the whole division?
I think they could.
I was going to say, I think they split with the Eagles, so I think they win 5 games.
Oh shit! I've just looked at my list and realised I've got the Giants winning more games than the Eagles.
Oh wow.
But I'll go with it anyway. Fuck it. Giants 8.5.
Sorry, can we just go back to the Cowboys for a minute?
Oh, sorry.
I just don't see the Cowboys win 11.5. You think there's a chance the Cowboys win 12 games?
Yeah.
I don't. I could not see that. They can win 10 games, but I think that's way too high.
I think the NFC is going to be a lot more sparse next year in its parity. I think every team that's good last year isn't going to be quite as good. I think the wins are going to get spread out a lot more.
Maybe. Sorry, go on. Who were you saying next?
Giants 8.5.
Under.
I think Giants will be good. I think they can get something going, but they do have
a lot of holes.
Terrible back office or front office.
Yeah, I think in 6 games.
The Eagles I have at 7.5. I don't buy Carson Wentz. I just don't.
7.5 is like the perfect number as well, because they're an 8-8 football team, aren't they? Really? Yeah, go on. I'll take the over because I don't see the Cowboys winning as many games as you have
Okay.
them winning.
I think the Eagles are an overpaid average football team.
Yeah, I agree, and they're old as well.
Yeah. Redskins, I've got 5.5.
Under.
Really?
Redskins are the worst team in the league for me. They've got a lot of defensive line
But
talent.
I think they got some talent though. The offense isn't awful either.
Their front seven has talent, and I mean I like McLaurin. I mean, who are they playing at quarterback? Alex Smith has not played properly in 2 years now.
Haskins, I'm guessing.
I mean, Haskins last year, a coach gave up on him and came out and said it in his rookie year.
He played pretty well in the end, in the stretch.
I don't see Haskins as the answer.
Well,
I think there's a lot of bad teams. I think the Redskins are going to be the worst team in the league.
Okay. I don't.
Not only that, but they've got a toxic culture with the worst owner in
They do have terrible ownership. Yeah, no.
terrible ownership.
I think they're chronic bad decision makers.
At the same time, I do like Ron Rivera, but
yeah, I think defensively, I think they're going to be very good.
Yeah,
and that will win you, I think, at least 4 or 5 games in the league if you've got.
At the same time, though, I don't see I mean, Dwayne Haskins' that offense. How many points they're going to put up? 13 a game.
I don't know. Yeah, without an off season as well, I suppose.
Exactly. Yeah, even more so.
But well, I don't know. I'm still riding with that anyway. So we're on to the AFC South. The Houston Texans. This was almost pretty low for me actually. 6.5.
Over.
Where they're going to get their wins from? Deshaun Watson on his own?
Yeah, pretty much. I think so. Yeah.
All right. The Titans again. This is quite a low one. 7.5.
Over as well. I think they're going to be able to run the ball on teams all day long.
In theory, they should. Yes.
Yeah. This is why. I mean, I think they're very one-dimensional. I like Tannehill. I don't think Tannehill's a top 10 quarterback in the league, but
no. I mean, I like the receiving. I mean, AJ Brown was insane last year.
He was really good.
I think, but this is it. Then we go into the season. They got so much hope, and they've now gone all in on Derrick Henry and Tannehill and this run system. What if it just doesn't work? They could completely implode and win 4 games.
I think they've actually got quite a tough division as well. Like, no one really thinks of the AFC South as a particularly difficult division, much like people think the NFC North is so good when it's not. The AFC South that's a tough division, except outside of maybe the Jags. The Colts are good as well.
I've got the Colts at 11.5.
Oh, under. I think they'll win 10 games.
I think they're a very well-run franchise. I think getting Philip Rivers his last hurrah or whatever.
Yeah.
I think.
But then again, we don't know.
Goodish.
Yeah, but what if he has fallen off and that was the reason the Chargers let him go?
Well, that is true, but also I'm not gonna pin my hopes on or pin my trust on the front office of the Chargers because they haven't really owned it.
No, as anonymous as their fans, the front office of the Chargers.
Yeah, and the Jags 3.5.
3.5.
I don't see.
Weirdly enough, when I was thinking about who I thought would be the worst team in the league, I couldn't decide between the Jags and the Redskins, and I went with the Redskins for the simple fact that I think that I have more faith in Minshew than I do Haskins.
I would still agree with that, but I think the way the Jags are just clearing out their locker room of talent, I don't see where they're going to come from.
I'll go over because I think they win 4 games. It's hard to win less than 4 games.
Well,
unless you're the Browns or the
I
Niners.
Suppose the Niners have done that for quite a few years, so yeah.
We won 1 game 1 year and 2 games the next year, and then 2 games the year after that. We had 5 wins in 3 seasons.
That's terrible. That
it was abysmal.
All right, so
and in that span, we lost to the Browns as well, and that was their only win of the season.
Oh yeah.
And even though they beat us on strength of schedule, we still picked behind them. But yeah, anyway.
Right, so that takes us on to your division. The Arizona Cardinals, I have at 9.5.
Under, but not by a lot. The Cardinals are very good. The Cardinals, I think they could go 9-7, and they could be the 7th wild card.
I've got the 9.5.
Yeah, under, then I'd take it.
So the Niners, I have 10.5.
I think we're in 11 games, so I'll go over.
Okay.
I mean, 1-13 last year, so it's not the biggest drop off in the world.
Seahawks at 8.5.
Over. The Seahawks are good. They're really well coached as well, and it's a hell of a hard place to play.
I could see them as a 9-7 playoff team, maybe.
I can see them as
Not
a
even
10
playoff
6.
team. They wouldn't make the playoffs for that.
I can see the Niners winning 11 games, the Seahawks winning 10 games, and the Cardinals winning 9 games, to be honest.
What would you have the Rams?
I think the Rams are now the worst team in this division. I think people have figured out McVay to an extent. I think they paid huge money thinking they were in like the season they were going to win it after they lost to the Patriots in the Super Bowl, and they overpaid a bit. They had to get rid of Gurley and eat a ton of dead money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think Goff is that good either.
6.5, I got them.
Yeah, after 6 wins, I'll go for the under.
The one that you sent me earlier, the
Vegas
ones, I think they were relatively the same, except, we're basing these projections on basically what happened last year, and that never plays true in the NFL. So I tried to sort of mix it up a bit and give teams to not be as good as last year, because statistically, a lot of them aren't going to be.
No, I don't think the Niners will be good as last year. We lost a huge part of our defense in Buckner. I mean, Kinlaw's obviously a huge talent, but he's a talent. He's not a developed player.
No, but you got Trent Williams now.
Yeah, I mean, the guy hasn't played in a year. I like Trent Williams. I think he's better than Joe Staley, but Joe Staley was a pretty good Pro Bowl left tackle anyway. We've upgraded maybe 10% at tackle.
Yeah, I was thinking it's almost like for like.
Yeah, pretty much. Not only that, but Staley knew the schemes and that. It's going to take Trent Williams a while.
And Trent Williams is a pass blocker by trade, I think, anyway. Whereas Staley was a run blocker.
Yeah.
But you got to keep Jimmy upright, so.
Yeah, I was actually reading stats earlier. He was sacked 38 times last year, and it felt like so many more.
There's this whole run on wide receivers. So there's so much talent of wide receivers out on the market and in the drafts. You even said about 2021.
Yeah.
Do you think that the rules and the way the game is now is making wide receiver jobs easier?
Yes.
So you think like
I think
they're not better receivers than they were 10 years ago. They're just.
Oh no, I think they are, but I think it's magnified by the way the league is changing.
Yeah, because DBs can't do anything.
But if you look back in time, in the 60s and the 70s, receiver wasn't a prominent position. In the 80s, it became slightly more. In the 90s, even more so. The 2000s, it was. Yeah. And now, more than ever, it's more valuable. At the same time, the running back has decreased in value in that you don't see running backs picked in the first round unless you're the Chiefs.
But also, I was thinking, think about how many, like, every team has a star wide receiver, or at least could be a bona fide star receiver.
Yeah.
Not every team has a corner that's a star corner.
No.
Cornerback jobs are so hard, and they're so hard to come by a star, outstanding cornerback now.
Well, what I was going to say is where you can see receiver go up in value and running back go down in value. At the same time, I mean, obviously corner has risen in value, but safety has decreased in value hugely. Even 10 years ago, 5 years ago, there were people picking safeties in the first round. The first safety off the board this year was 34th. No one pays safeties in free agency. Yeah. They're just not. People don't seem to be talking about it, but safeties.
There's no Polomalus or Ed Reeds that left.
No, I mean Thomas is old, but yeah.
Eric Berry can't get a job.
No, but even like the best safeties in the draft this year, they went low. Yeah. 3 or 4 corners off the board before them.
Well, Landon Collins was the last one to get a pay rise, I think.
Yeah.
But he went to the worst team in football. So
I think you have to just be like a playmaker. I think the Chargers safety will get one.
Derwin, yeah.
Derwin, when is due for it? He only just finished his second year though, so.
Yeah.
I know. If there's nothing else we want to talk about, mate, that's 40 odd minutes. So.
Yeah, cool.
All right, cheers for that. Thanks so much, mate.
Later on.
See you later. Bye.